diamonds in the sunset. Now your time has come.
All right, thank you for tuning in this nice-looking Wednesday morning. Hope you're doing well. You know, Robin, it's been a while since I've heard about Repairman Jack.
Yeah.
And F. Paul Wilson is who introduced us to that fictional character. Paul is back on the phone again with us today. He's on for a couple of different reasons. One is because of a book called Dark City. It's Repairman Jack, the early years. But we're also going to talk about the USO Operation Thriller 4 tour. F. Paul Wilson is a New York Times best-selling author. He's one of the thriller genre authors to tour during the USO Operation Thriller 4 tour. So let's find out what that was like, what it's about, and all that, and also, of course, about Dark City. So now let's go back to the phone. And he couldn't talk to us during that last minute there. There's something with this board I don't know how to use yet. I don't know how to still talk. We got a new board here, Paul. Good morning, Paul. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you all?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've got a little technical learning I got to do here, I guess, because I hate not being able to communicate with our guest prior to going on the air. But,
yeah.
So I know there's a way to do it. I just haven't learned it yet. Well, thank you for coming on. We haven't heard about Repairman Jack in a while. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He finished up the main arc of his story, and now publisher asked me to fill in, do a little backfilling on his younger years.
Oh, is that right? Well, that's good. That means that the publisher was getting money. That means there was money coming in from the books, right?
Yeah, they didn't want me to end the series, but I really always looked at it as a closed-end series.
Really?
It wouldn't go on forever.
Really?
And I didn't want to run him into the ground like, you've seen other series characters go on, past their expiration date.
Right, yeah.
And,
so, where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
I'm back in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. And the cover of the book has the Newark Airport exit. Robin just landed at Newark about a month ago.
Yep.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, there is a trip through New Jersey in there that takes up a big part of the book.
It's pretty fascinating. I just love how everything comes together in the book, and that the reader is truly a part of the story, because it's not far-fetched. It's something that could really happen.
Right. The early years trilogy, I decided I wasn't going to have any of the weird elements that sort of take over the series towards the end. This is early on in his career. He's just starting out, and he's just running into everyday criminals and terrorists and things like that.
So tell me about the USO Operation Thriller 4 tour. Where did you guys go, and how does a book tour actually work with the USO?
Well, it's not so much a book tour as just like a thank you tour. We started out in Washington, D.C., and we visited Walter Reed Hospital when we saw some of the recovering soldiers there. And then we did meet and greets at the various USO centers on base like Fort Belvoir and Quantico. And then we took off for Kuwait.
Oh, wow.
And that was quite an experience, landing in Kuwait City. We had a lot of, I guess you'd say, security. We actually had an advance team ahead of our bus and a chase car following our bus as we went from the airport to the hotel. And then when we went out to the bases, it was the same sort of thing. Kuwait's pretty much a low-threat zone, but there's always a few.
Yeah, right. And it only takes one, right?
They weren't taking any chances with us.
So
they had us well protected.
So who were you with?
I was with Harlan Coben. He's a fellow Jersey fella. We were both born and raised in New Jersey, and he was actually the superstar of the show, I believe. He has the greatest sales. He's had movies made in France, and he's running a TV series soon in England. So Heather Graham, who started off writing romances now doing sort of paranormal thrillers. She's written 160 books, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. We're all in awe of her.
Wow.
There was Philip Margolin, who's done legal thrillers. He's had some #1 bestsellers. And then there was Kathleen Antrim, who's a relative newcomer, who's been a journalist and now is becoming a novelist.
Oh wow! And I'm trying to get a picture of what this was like, because when you think of the USO, you think of an audience. So how did the USO tour work for you guys?
Well, everybody thinks it's of a USO tour as the camp shows, where
right.
used to be Bob Hope
right.
or Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
Now the shows are more like they'll bring in a heavy metal group or something like that. But we just were much more low-key. We went to all the USO centers. We went to hospitals and just talking. And there's a lot of soldiers who want to write. And especially in Ramstein, they actually have a writers group. And,
right.
We spoke to the members of that. A lot of people are readers. I get letters from soldiers all the time saying, that the Repairman Jack books help them, with the downtime between deployments.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, and so I'm wondering,
it's like popcorn reading, and it gets them through the downtimes.
Right, right. So in let's see, did you? How do I ask this question? After the Operation Thriller 4 tour, did that perhaps change the way you wrote? Did you write with those guys in mind?
No, I write with basically someone like me in mind. I write stories I would like to read, and so fortunately for me, there are a lot of other people who would like to read those kind of stories too.
Sure.
So it works out well for all of us. But that's the only kind of story I can write, is something I'd say, I wish somebody else would write this story. So nobody else is doing it, so I've got to do it.
Now, ultimately, do you feel like the whole bottom line purpose of the USO tour was to increase morale?
Yes, that's the whole purpose of USO. And the soldiers love USO. I never appreciated how much they really count on USO to... Well, the USO will have these centers. They'll set up computers where they can Skype with their family.
Right.
There's free phone calls. There's video games. There's TV. There's movies. We went to a base, it's called Burning in Kuwait, which is 20 miles from the Iraq border. And those guys, they call it Camp Boring because they're all... infantrymen. They're combat ready, and everything's quiet. So they're basically just hanging out, waiting for something to happen, so they can go into action. But it does, there's a drawdown now, so there's fewer and fewer bases in Kuwait.
When
Robin.
When you went there, did you actually conduct workshops and critique some of the writings?
No, we were willing to do that, but they couldn't work it out with the soldier schedules, because they're still basically working all the time. Mm-hmm. But we were willing, but the USO couldn't work that out.
Did you have books with you when you went on the tour?
Yes, we each bought about 25. That was all we could manage in our luggage.
Right.
But my publisher, I was talking to my publisher, Tom Doherty, and he said, we'll send as many books as you want, anywhere you want. And USO just can't seem to get the books where they're needed at the right time. There's a logistical problem there. So we had to bring our own, so to speak, and we gave them all away eventually. And
are the soldiers using the electronic option, the Kindles and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's harder for them to download it with a straight Kindle. Something like a Kindle Fire, where you can get on Wi-Fi,
right.
Then you can download it. But the old 3G Kindle has no way of connecting out there.
Oh, really? I guess I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, there's different ways. I mean, if you can get a Wi-Fi signal with the later Kindles, you can pretty much use it as a computer almost. You can use it as a browser, but the old-fashioned types, you can't do it.
So when you retire your character, Repairman Jack, do you have another series that you're currently working on? Somebody that's fascinating?
I'm not going to do another series. I just handed in the last Repairman Jack novel, and I say the last. I don't want to say I'll never do another Repairman Jack novel, but this routine of a new Repairman Jack novel every October or November, every year after year, is stopping next year.
So did you have to research your own books in order to do the prequel, so to speak, of in Dark City?
Well, yeah, it started off with Cold City, and that starts in 1991. And I go through his first 3 years in New York City. And even though I live right outside the city, I went to high school in the city, I'm in and out of the city to see plays, meet people, my agent, my publisher, and so on, I didn't have a good memory of what New York City was like in 1990. And it's really difficult to find it. I mean, if I want to know how deep the mud was after a rainy night, Five Corners in 1845, I can do that. That's easy to find. But how the new, say, Times Square looked in 1990, really hard.
Oh, I could tell you.
And then I want to know exactly, though. And then I found videos.
Robin went.
People put up videos of trips through Times Square and New York City, and there it was. It all came back to me.
Oh, that's cool.
All the sleaze, the pre-Disney.
Yeah. Let me just. Here's a funny kind of a footnote here. Robin went to New York 1 month ago, and she went to a McDonald's in Times Square. Now I went to that same McDonald's in Times Square a couple years ago, but back in 1990 or so, that wasn't a McDonald's.
No.
It was a peep show, and I remember it very well.
Oh, you do? Good.
Yeah. It was one of those.
Yeah, there were a lot of peep shows back then.
Yeah, there certainly were. So while I'm eating a hamburger with my son, I didn't want to tell him because he was too young.
Yeah.
Your daddy used to come in here.
Just tell him it used to be a Nedick.
It's too funny. It's. I don't know if Robin is feeling this or not, but I'm kind of disappointed that Repairman Jack is going away.
Well, I've gotten a lot.
You're sick of him, huh?
That's why I did the early years trilogy, because everyone was complaining that there's no more Repairman Jack. But as I said, I don't want to run him into the ground.
How about Repairman Jack: The Afterlife?
But you are still going to continue to write, though, even though you won't be doing series. You'll still come up with different characters for different.
Yeah,
genres.
I'm going to do more standalone thrillers. But as I said, if an idea comes up that's perfect for Jack, I'll bring him back for a book. But it's just not going to be every single fall. There's going to be a new Repairman Jack.
Is that your primary website? Is repairmanjack.com, or do you have a different one?
No, that's my primary website. He took over my writing career,
So yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. So if you're dropping him, I don't know.
Well, the books will still be out there.
Yeah.
And they're always, and they continue to sell.
So now
there's always people discovering it, and then they're always overjoyed that if I found a new series, here are like 20 books, all about the same character, and they get into it.
Yeah. So when you're traveling with other authors, now you mentioned Harlan Cohen has a track record, even some movies made of his books. So the first question, have you had movies made of your books? And did you guys discuss that? Is that something you want or would want?
Well, Michael Mann made a very bad movie out of my novel, The Keep, back in the 80s.
Oh, I remember that movie.
And I think I remember you telling us that once before.
It's streaming on Netflix now, but it's not out on DVD. I think he's prevented the release on DVD, but he doesn't like it either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think so, because he never mentions it when they talk about his films. But it's it's streaming on Netflix, and it's really pretty much an incomprehensible movie, but it does spur sales. The Keep is still my best-selling title on my backlist because I think people see the movie and don't understand what's going on. They say, well, let me get the book.
They get the book. Oh, well, it worked in your favor, maybe, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're on LSD or something, it probably makes sense. But for anybody sitting there unstoned, it's incomprehensible.
I think we're having a lot of fun speaking to you, and I don't think we've been really fair to the book. For the listeners who want to know what's in between the covers of Dark City, give us a little movie trailer version using the movie genre. Whatever you call it, the movie talk. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the story in the book.
It's Act 2. Dark City is Act 2, following Cold City of the trilogy. And I went and looked back and said, what was going on in the early 90s in New York City in crime, in politics, in terrorism, and all that sort of thing. So I've got some Arabs running around, jihadists. I've got the mob.
Yeah.
I've got a secret society that's working behind the scenes. We wind up with, a call girl operation and slavery, human sex trafficking. There's so much. I like a novel that has all these threads that start out looking like they're not connected at the beginning, and then they start to intersect.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, they all come together at the end with a big bang. So that's what I'm shooting for here, and it did work out. As I said, I just handed in the third book, Fear City,
right.
And everything comes together with literally quite an explosion.
Oh, the third one is called Fear City?
That's the last one.
Fear City. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a copy of this one. It's called Dark City. So I guess I'm doing this a little bit earlier than I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
We're not done with the interview yet, but since I started saying this, if you'd like the book, call me. I'll put your name on it, and we'll tell you how to get the other books or any of the books from Paul in just a few minutes.
Are you going to dabble in other genres when you do your other standalone writings?
Well, I've always been what we call a genre hopper.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I even within the Repairman Jack series, I was hopping around. I did like a medical thriller in there. I did a haunted house novel, and as long as Jack is in the story, the marketing department's happy, I'm happy, and the readers are happy. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I'm going to be hopping around all sorts of genres. I've pretty much written everything except a straight romance and a Western novel. I haven't done a Western novel. I don't think I will. That might take a little too much research because I'm one of those people, I have to get it right.
Yeah, right.
So I'd have to have the guns just right. I'd have to have the way they dress, the way you sit on a horse. I'm a fanatic about accuracy, and that would drive me crazy. I'd have to start from scratch.
Well, plus
that's what makes you great.
Plus, you're.
I like to make stuff up,
Plus, you're a city kid, right? Mostly.
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
I grew up in North Jersey, but as I said, I went to high school in Manhattan and college in Washington D.C. So basically, I'm urban based in my brain.
Right. Is the USO tours that we started the conversation about? Do they happen once a year?
Yes. For the last 4 years, different small group of thriller writers have gone. One group, I think, went to Afghanistan.
So are you going this year? Or did you... You're not back. You didn't start yet, right? It's still coming, right?
Oh, no, we're back.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was a holiday thing.
9 days, and it was 4 time zones. And by the time I finished, my body didn't know whether it was day or night.
Okay.
It's really strange.
See,
Kuwait is 7 hours different from the U.S. East Coast. And that's just enough to throw you off.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking we were talking about last year's USO tour, and the next one was coming up. It's not a holiday tour, then?
No.
Usually
we do it this time of year. I think because the Middle East isn't so unbearable. They say it can be 130 degrees out there in the desert. So.
Wow. Can you imagine that?
How was your family when you went over there? Because that had to be ultra scary for them.
Yeah, you're
thinking
kinda
that
risky.
They were
maybe,
nervous.
You know,
They
you might not
were
come
definitely
back.
nervous.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I kept saying, it's, and they reassured us. They said, well, they reassure you, and then they make you take this course in what to do if there's a mortar attack, or if someone throws a grenade into the room, or someone starts shooting.
Oh.
So you have to pass that before they'll let you go.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And we all have to be approved by the Department of Defense to go. And that worried me some because, when I research these novels, I'm looking up terrorist groups, how to make a bomb,
right.
all that type of stuff. If the NSA is listening,
yes, I know.
Phone calls, I know they're monitoring.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny.
I was worried. I said, "Oh, they're not going to let me go."
See, I worry about this. I worry a similar when I do the news that I report at home, and then I email it to myself. And I'm often thinking, I wonder if I have any trigger words or trigger phrases in my email. And it's not. I mean, you're at a much greater profile, I guess, than anything I would ever do. Again, the book is.
Oh yeah, what's the blast radius of this type of explosive? That can't go down easy.
No. Somebody's getting that and saying, "Wait a minute." I bet you're right. I bet you they are keeping an eye on you, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they find out you're an author. Oh, it's just an author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there was a call, I don't know if we brought this up last time you were on, Paul, but there was a call from the Pentagon for authors to try to come up with scenarios because you've got that creative talent, so they could maybe consider so they could see what a terrorist might decide to do. Yeah,
well, you're figuring Tom Clancy he killed off most of Congress by having jihadists ram a jet into the Capitol Rotunda before 9/11. So.
Oh yeah.
And so I think Brad Meltzer was one of the authors they called in. They didn't call me in, but I would have gone. Would have been fun.
Yeah.
And now you can go. You got the training for all the bad things that could happen.
So which is a darker city, Newark or New York?
Is it the darker city?
Yeah, which is the darker city? This is a stupid question, I know, but just a funny question, I guess.
Well, in 1992, I would say New York City was the darker city.
And now New York is brightening up?
Oh, New York is like, practically Disneyland to what it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you if you went into behind the Times Square area, it's where all the behind the Port Authority on 9th Avenue. I remember driving by and having the hookers lifting their tops to show that they were really women. Because some of them weren't.
Oh goodness!
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was a rush.
My experience was I was wearing a sweatshirt that said "I'd rather be on vacation," and I had a woman grab my shirt and say, "I'll give you a vacation." Yeah. That was my memory of those days.
Well, they would grab you and say, you want a party, and say, I'm with my wife. I said, she can come too.
Funny interview. Always good to talk to you. So next time you come on, no Repairman Jack. Well, I guess we got one more, huh?
Yeah, Fear City.
One more next fall.
Fear City. Then what? You don't talk about him anymore?
No, as I said, I'll definitely talk about
somebody
him.
new.
And we're working on a TV series, so maybe
okay.
We'll have that to talk about.
Oh, I hope they don't. I hope they do it right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
They can really ruin him.
Paul, always good to chat with you. Thank you for everything you're doing. Your website is repairmanjack.com, right?
That's it. That's where I hang out.
F. Paul Wilson is who you're listening to. I'm sure many of your readers are listening right now. So thank you again for being on with us, Paul.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Fun interview. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Now is the time
Thank
to
you
take
so much,
advantage of
Paul.
Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require a $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Universal Soil Solutions wants to know when the last time you took a good look at your property. Noticed any driveway cracks, stair-step cracks in your block, or even foundation cracks? It may or may not be a sinkhole, but a visual inspection by a trained professional must be performed. Experts in sinkhole remediation, cosmetics, remodeling, and even complete construction development. Universal Soil Solutions provides that inspection for free. To schedule your free property inspection, you must call now. 877-519-2777. That's 877-519-2777.
Hi, Robin. You look tired.
I am. I've been running all over town.
Why? Why not drive?
I need to get this stupid document notarized.
Well, that's easy. You need personal service.
Duh, that's what I've been looking for.
You need to go see Mark at the Personal Service Center. He can notarize that for you, make copies, fax it wherever, or send it out in the mail. Heck, he can even scan it and email it for you.
Really? Where is he at?
2375 Northeast 25th Avenue, on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street. You can call him at 789-6683.
Personal Service Center. Thanks, Larry.
Attention college students and recent grads, don't miss Workforce Connections Student and Alumni Job Fair on Wednesday, November 13th at the College of Central Florida's Klein Conference Center in Ocala. The free event takes place from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. and includes the opportunity to meet with 30 local employers who want to hire candidates like you. Professional dress and registration are required. Learn more at 1-800-434-JOBS or visit workforceconnectionfl.com.
If you haven't been downtown lately, then you haven't been to the all-new Corkscrew, a new place to make wine and now beer. Come check out the handcrafted wine and beer, sit out on our new outdoor patio, and enjoy the live music every Friday and Saturday night. And with the holidays just around the corner, the Corkscrew has you covered with the perfect unique gift idea, a custom wine that you make yourself. The Corkscrew also has a one-of-a-kind location that's the perfect environment for parties. So stop by today and see what's new at the Corkscrew, 16 Southwest Broadway, downtown Ocala.
Busch has to deal with his teammate Denny Hamlin fighting for second. They are
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is on the Motor Racing Network. Coverage continues Sunday with the Advocare 500 from Phoenix International Raceway. Hear it live at 2 p.m. on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. And for ticket information, go to mrn.com.
Did you know that dementia is more than just a memory problem? This Friday at 11 a.m., Dr. John W. Grace, board-certified psychiatrist, will be our guest to discuss various aspects of dementia and a new program that is being created to centralize information for dementia patients and save valuable time in case of emergencies. Dr. Grace has his practice in Crystal River, but is dedicated to helping dementia patients throughout this area. That's Friday at 11 a.m., discussing DASH for dementia. If you're in the citrus industry or in a citrus-producing area, citrus matters to you. Tune in on Friday, November 8th at noon for our live broadcast of this year's USDA Citrus Crop Forecast. We're your exclusive radio source for the numbers as they are released. Join Southeast AgNet's